Hi, my name's Kim, and I'll be your doctor today. So, the first thing we're going to start off with is respiration. So, I'm going to be taking her radial pulse. So, I'm going to find her radial pulse. Alright. So, I'm going to hold this there for 30 seconds, and I'm going to multiply that by 2. Awesome. Okay, so she is at a resting heart rate of 65 beats per minute. So with this, we're also going to be taking her respiration. So right now, what you're going to do is just watch them breathe and also listen to them for any abnormalities while they're doing so. Awesome. So she's at 14 respirations per minute. So basically during this time is we're making sure that she's not taking too much effort breathing, making sure that she has good sounds while she's breathing, and also just making sure that it's just not taking too much effort, basically, so that way she's nice and healthy. So the average respirations per minute for an adult is 12 to 20, and the average resting heart rate is anywhere between 60 and 80 beats per minute.
A fast resting heart rate means that you're tachycardic, which is usually over 100 beats per minute. Tachycardic is dangerous depending on its underlying causes, so you want to make sure that you are getting that checked out. If you have a low resting heart rate, that's brachycardia. So that means that you are either in really good shape and that your body has to work less to stay alive, or it could also have an underlying cause, just wanting to look out for that again. So getting that checked by your doctor is always a good thing.
So for blood pressure, what you're going to do is you're going to get your blood pressure cuff. You want to make sure it's the proper size, so it's going to be fitting her bicep nice and snugly. We're going to be placing it around the left arm, so that way, because it's the better arm to do it for, because it's closer to the heart and you get a better reading. You want to make sure that they're sitting up nice and straight, and that their legs are not crossed and their feet are on the floor, because that way it's the best way to get a reading. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your stethoscope and you're going to place the bell underneath where her brachial artery is. And first what you're going to do is you're going to do a dry run. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make sure first it's all the way screwed. You're going to slowly release for anywhere between 1 to 3 millimeters per mercury per second. So when you hear the first noise, the cough sound, that is going to be your systolic number, and then when you stop hearing the sound, that's going to be your diastolic blood pressure. So she was a solid 120/80, which is your average.
So for blood pressure, if you are more on the higher side, then you are more likely hypertensive, and so this basically means that there's being more strain put on your blood vessels and on your heart, which can lead to more heart attack or stroke. And also later on down the line, if you don't take care of this, then it can turn into a kidney disease. If you're on the lower side, so under 120/80, then that would mean that you are more hypotensive. So basically this would mean that, in severe cases of low blood pressure, this blood pressure reading lower than 90 degrees of like mercury per millimeter would as the top number, or 60 millimeters per mercury as the bottom number, is generally considered a low blood pressure. So this could be just an issue where you'd want to see your doctor for.
So for temperature, what you're going to do is you're going to use a thermometer. I have an oral thermometer. What you're going to do is you're going to turn it on, wait for it, have the patient stick it underneath the tongue, close the mouth, hold it there until it beeps again. The average temperature is a 98.6 degrees. And her temperature is 98.6. Wow, so great.
So a high temperature could mean that you have an infection in your body, and so your body's trying to fight that off right now. Or it could also be an indicator of a heat illness. If your body temperature is below 95 degrees or below, then that could also mean that you have frostbite.
For the lymph node examination, you're going to be using 3 fingers, and you're just going to be feeling anteriorly and posteriorly on the cervical. You're going to be feeling for firm, tender, enlarged, and warm, because that can be signs for an infection. It could also be firm, non-tender, and matted may indicate malignancies. Lymph nodes are really great because they help with drainage of other fluids and just really help clean out your system from infections and all of that sort of thing. Okay, so for the ear exam, we're going to be using an otoscope. What you're going to be doing is I'm going to put her hair behind her ear. You're going to be looking at the outside of the ear, looking for any obvious deformities, any discoloration, anything like that. It looks good. So what you're going to do is you're going to then place the otoscope in your, I'm looking at the left ear, so I'm going to place it in my left hand. Raising this with my right hand, you're going to go in. And you're going to be looking at the inner workings of the ear. You're going to be looking at the tympanic membrane, looking for any gray spots or anything like that. You're also going to be looking to see if there's any discoloration or any odd deformities in the ear as well. I see none, so you look good.
If you find gray spots or abnormalities in the ear, the gray spots in the tympanic membrane could indicate some hearing loss or calcification of the tympanic membrane. Any deformities or discolorations or fluid in the ear could indicate an infection of the ear.
So for the Weber's test, you'd be performing this if you suspected hearing loss. So what you are going to do is you're going to take a tuning fork. You're going to strike the tuning fork. You're going to place it on the apex of the head. And then you're going to ask them if they heard it equally on both sides or if they heard it louder on your right or left side. So did you hear it equally on both sides? Awesome. So if they were to have hearing loss in one ear, then they would hear it louder in a different ear. So if they had hearing loss in the left ear, they'd be able to hear it louder on the right ear. So this is going to be the Rhines test. What you're going to do is you're going to take your tuning fork and you're going to strike it, placing it behind on the mastoid process. So I'm going to be doing so now. Let me know when you hear the buzzing. Awesome. And then you're going to take it while it's still vibrating, place it perpendicular in front of the ear, testing to make sure that you can hear it both through the bone as well as in front of them. Which one did you hear better? The one right here. Awesome. For the throat exam, what we're going to be using is a tongue depressor and a solid light source. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to ask the patient to open up wide. Say So in the third exam, what you're going to be looking for is at the tonsils to see if they're enlarged, discolored, or have pus on them. You're also going to be looking around the throat, making sure that there's no abscesses or any odd discoloration. If you see pus on the tonsils, that usually is a sign for strep, or if you see enlarged tonsils or discoloration of the throat, then that usually means that there's an infection in the body.
If you find gray spots or abnormalities in the ear, the gray spots in the tympanic membrane could indicate some hearing loss or calcification of the tympanic membrane. Any deformities or discolorations or fluid in the ear could indicate an infection of the ear.